University of Arizona Wildcats win this game against the UCLA Bruins. The final score, University of Arizona Wildcats 79 to the UCLA Bruins 75. I really didn't think that the University of Arizona Wildcats were going to be able to keep things up in the second half because one of the biggest things that I heard was rebounds. The University of Arizona Wildcats usually have done really good as far as beating other teams as far in the rebound category. But the University of Arizona Wildcats had less offensive rebounds than the UCLA Bruins, and the guys that are really good at getting rebounds, Brendan Ashley from the University of Arizona Wildcats, Caleb Tarzewski, and Aaron Gordon are all good rebounders, and so I kind of expected them to be able to get the good rebounds, or maybe outweigh, or maybe perform the UCLA Bruins in the second half with rebounds, but they were all in foul trouble. Tarzewski, Gordon, and Ashley were all in foul trouble in the first half. I mean, each of them had 2 fouls, and I think T.J. McConnell had 2 fouls too, and he was also a very big rebounder in this game. Kind of interesting because Rondé Hollis-Jefferson, he ended up with 7 rebounds, and so he did pretty darn good too. He had 3 offensive rebounds, so he was a major mark also in this team. But anyway, so the University of Arizona Wildcats had all those guys in foul trouble. Well, kind of, sort of, with 2 fouls in the first half, and so the UCLA Bruins forwards, their forwards and their big men down in the post, their big rebounders were not so much in foul trouble. So I was expecting the University of Arizona Wildcats to not be able to win this game, but in the end, it was, the University of Arizona Wildcats had I think a 13-point lead at one time. I can't remember the score, 13, but they had the University of Arizona Wildcats had a 13-point lead in the second half, and then the UCLA Bruins just went on a 13-0 run to tie the game right up again. And so it was, and then after that, then it was the University of Arizona Wildcats and the UCLA Bruins kind of battling back and forth as far as one person had the lead, and then the UCLA Bruins had the lead, and then the Arizona Wildcats had the lead, and then the UCLA Bruins had the lead, and then the Arizona Wildcats had the lead. But then the Arizona Wildcats were able to finish it out, and they passed in the ball. The University of Arizona Wildcats passed the ball into Nick Johnson, and he got fouled, and he knocked down, 1 or 2 actually. From free throw land. He usually is very consistent on those free throws right at the end. But he was having a difficult time, even though he did score 22 points. Nick Johnson had, I think it was his second game in a row where he scored over 20 points. And Caleb Tarczewski had 8 rebounds, and he had 16 points, so he was also a major contributor. But I think the one that was the biggest contributor for the University of Arizona Wildcats was Gabe York, because he was on fire from three-point land in the first half, and there was a lot of stats that I couldn't understand why the Arizona Wildcats were not were ahead, because the Arizona Wildcats. Well, I couldn't understand why I could understand why the Arizona Wildcats were ahead, because the amount of steals and the amount of blocks were very. I think the UCLA Bruins had a lot of steals and a lot of blocks, and so I think the UCLA Bruins had like I think it was 5 steals or no, 6 steals, but anyway, a lot of steals and the UCLA Bruins. They were able to score points off of those steals and those blocks. So that was one of the reasons why the UCLA Bruins were able to stay in the game, even though the three-pointer attempts were really bad. The UCLA Bruins three-point attempts were really bad in the first half. They had, I think, 1 for 6 or something like that. But then in the second half, then they made three pointers. They shot, I think, they made 3 out of 7 from three-point land. So they were doing pretty good in the second half. But it was just the thing is Kyle Anderson, also from the UCLA Bruins. He's a jack of all trades. He's a fantastic player. Let's see, he ended up with 6 assists, and T.J. McConnell had 7 assists. But the reason why I'm saying is Kyle Anderson had 6 assists, but he also had 11 total rebounds. So he's and 16 points, and three steals, 2 blocks. Just a fantastic player. He did have 4 turnovers, but the thing about it was with Kyle Anderson is just he can do all sorts of stuff for the UCLA Bruins. So it was dangerous for whenever Kyle Anderson had 4 fouls, because he was he makes such an impact on the game that whenever he's out, then it kills the UCLA Bruins, and he ended up with 16 points. I think that Coach Miller from the University of Arizona Wildcats was thinking that if anybody scores over 20 points, or I can't remember anybody particular. I think he was very highly. He was a little high praise for Anderson, but if anybody scores over 20 points, especially Anderson, then we're in trouble. The person that knocked down the 3-pointers was Alford, actually, 2 for 2 from three-point land for the UCLA Bruins. Anyway, the University of Arizona Wildcats did out-rebound the UCLA Bruins 37 to 36, but the University of Arizona Wildcats had 11 offensive rebounds, and the UCLA Bruins had 16 offensive rebounds. So, the UCLA Bruins they were very good. It was just the luck of the draw, and whenever they came back by 13, whenever they were down by that 13-point deficit and came back and tied the game, I thought the UCLA Bruins were going to be able to finish the game out, because that was whenever the University of Arizona Wildcats got everybody, a lot of their starters got in foul trouble, and ended up with they were in four fouls or three fouls or four fouls. So it was dangerous territory, but the University of Arizona Wildcats were able to have some balls fall and get some points in their favor, so they were kind of lucky. And anyway, the UCLA Bruins just got in big foul trouble right there at the end, and University of Arizona Wildcats were able to win this game 79 to the UCLA Bruins 75.